friend, welcome back to the Founders Collective. This is the podcast for small town business owners who are doing big time things. Today, we are talking about something that doesn't sound at all that glamorous, but honestly, it might be one of the most freeing things you can do for your business. I want you to stop guessing and start tracking. I know what you might be thinking. Andrea, I barely have time to post on social media to make anything happen. You want me to look at numbers and measure things? Come on, hear me out. This isn't just about making another spreadsheet or trying to do something perfectly. This is really about you gaining some clarity. When you have clarity, you can stop spinning. You can stop wondering if something isn't working. You can stop wasting hours and hours on things that don't actually move your business forward. How many times have you signed up for a free thing? How many times have you listened to a webinar? How many times have you signed up for a webinar and then missed it because you are doing something else? How many times have you purchased posts or templates or a new Canva something or other? That's what tracking is going to bring a little bit of clarity for you. That is going to help provide a bit of a compass. Let's be real. Most of us are guessing. Most of us small business owners are really kind of just guessing. We're going to try a new post. We're going to try, here's a new idea for a new product. Ooh, that's a great new offer. And then we'll throw it out there and we're going to wait to see if someone bites. We will easily throw 25 behind a Facebook boost and say, well, it's out there. Well, is out there where we really want it to be? We have all been in that place. And it's not because we're lazy. It's because most of us were never really taught how to use the data that we're presented with. When you start a small business, nobody says, here's the handbook, here's how to track everything. That's not what happens at all. For us real entrepreneurs, it's so easy to feel like data doesn't apply to us. We know our people. We talk to them every day. It's not how I've always done it. What a dangerous phrase, isn't it? Here's the deal. Your gut is good, and how we've always done it will get you so far, but we don't necessarily have proof. When we have the proof, that's when we have the power. When we track what we're doing, tracking doesn't necessarily replace intuition. It confirms it. So it's telling you what's actually connecting with your customers. Your data might actually tell you what you can do less of, where your time and money are best spent. Maybe that $25 boost was good, but what made it good? What was quantifiably good about it? It's not really about getting fancy, and I'm not asking you to go totally off the rails with this one. It's about getting clear. So let's talk a little further about that. First things first, I want to strip away a little bit of the intimidation around data, because data itself sounds cold and maybe complicated, but really that's just feedback. Let's think about it like this. If you were, say, selling cookies at the farmer's market, I don't know, I'm just thinking of something fun. We're selling cookies at the farmer's market, and every time you set out samples of one particular flavor, that tray totally emptied first. You would take note, okay? You'd probably bake more of that type of flavor, and maybe you would start riffing on that type of flavor that people are really digging. You would do that every single week. Well, that's all data is. It's the same story, just digital. It's looking at what your customers are responding to and making note of that. So instead of sitting there asking yourself, what am I doing wrong? Start by flipping that over and saying, what's already working and how do I lean into that? That's tracking. When you start tracking, your business starts to feel a lot less like guesswork and a lot more like progress. So what data do I actually look at? Let's talk about that. I promise this is simple and you don't need anything special for this one. First things first, let's make a list because that's always easy to interpret and easy for us to remember. First things first, social engagement. What types of posts do people really respond to? I'm not talking about most likes or anything like that, but like the comments, the shares, the saves, the real conversations that are happening below that post. That's going to tell you what's resonating. When I'm speaking here about social engagement, I use post a little bit broadly to describe what piece of content have you put out there. Is that a reel, a story, an actual static post? Are you posting some type of video differently? What type of post are you putting out there? I'm talking about a piece of content here. So the conversations, coming back to that point, the comments, saves, shares, conversations, Let's lean into that. If every time you post a behind the scenes story or maybe a customer testimonial, maybe people are sending you messages. Maybe they're reacting a lot by tagging someone. Maybe they're saying, "Oh, I love that person too. That's the most helpful salesperson. I'm so glad you helped me with this." Or maybe the behind the scenes is creating anticipation. "I can't wait to see that jacket. Oh my goodness, I really need that pair of trousers." Whatever happens to be, what are the things are they looking at, right? That's a sign to you, the business owner, that says, "Hey, more of this. We want this." They want to see more of that. Well, lean into that. That's a wonderful piece of feedback and a little piece of data that you can actually do something with. Our second point, email open and click rates. I'm specifically talking to those small business owners and entrepreneurs who have already started email marketing. It's not hard at all to start email marketing. So I encourage you to look into the many, many, many free providers there are out there. Anytime my team and I build a website for a new client, we're using a web builder that has email built right in. So it's all under one roof, all under one login and platform for you. So you really don't have to reinvent the wheel. If you're sending a newsletter or an update, watch what people are opening and what they click on. So say you have 50 people, 50 subscribers, those 50 people are telling you what they care about. If 80% of them clicked on a new story or a blog, or they clicked on something in there about that, something that was new, a new fall flavor, they wanted a coupon, things like that. That's data saying, "I really want this. I want to know more. I want to read more." If only a small percentage clicked on the coupon, well, then they might not need a coupon to make the sale, and they might be more interested in your story, and vice versa. If more of them are clicking on the coupon, is that telling you more about your pricing? Or is that telling you more about your customers? Are they craving a little bit of a break? Are they needing that coupon? Hey, fellow founder. If you are finding value in the Founders Collective, I would love for you to support the show over at Buy Me a Coffee. Think of it as tossing a couple bucks in the tip jar to say, "Hey, thanks, this helped me today." Your support helps keep the mic on, the episodes coming, and our coffee brewed. You can also become a member and get access to exclusive bonus episodes, behind the scenes chats, and some free downloads to take your business even further. Just head to buymeacoffee.com/founderscollective or click the link in our show notes. Thanks for being here, and thanks for being the kind of founder who builds things that matter. Our third point, website traffic. You can get a ton of insight by just simply knowing which pages people visit. Now, of course, a website traffic section could really be its own podcast, and truly there is so much information about that you can learn from website traffic. That's why we all have to accept or deny the cookies when we go to so many different websites. There's so much data that those of us who are watching website traffic can really learn from it. So here, what are a few things that we can look at? Do they spend a lot of time on your about page? Maybe your services. Are they jumping away? Are they bouncing? Right? That's the term that you're going to hear us marketers use. What's the bounce rate? How quickly did they come to your page and then bounce right back out when you think of it that direction? What are they lingering on? How long did they read on this? Some site builders even have a way that you can record the site session. You can actually see how the pathway someone took on your website. You can see where they lingered, what they clicked on. There's click analysis tools to show you where are the hot spots that people are clicking on. That's going to give you a lot of direction as the business owner into helping people understand what are they clicking on versus what you wanted them to be clicking on. Are they matching up, or are they incongruent there? Your website builder should give you a lot of this data. Otherwise, make sure that it's also clicked into Google Analytics. Make sure those pieces are linked together, because even at its most basic level can give you some of these clues to understand where your people are on your website. Here's another marketing word for you: conversions. Ooh, that sounds big and jazzy, but what does it mean? It is simply an action people are taking after they see your things. Are they filling out a form? Are they booking an appointment? Are they stopping in? Are they calling? Those are all conversions. So to track a conversion, we need to track what's actually driving them there. It's really fascinating to see what can we do to help someone actually fill out that form. Not a lot of people are actually bold enough to fill out that form. The person who genuinely wants that product or service is really going to fill out that form. But you have and I'll use the phrase, your tire kickers. You have the people out there that are simply just looking for information. If they're just looking, they might not actually fill out the form, and they might ditch on your site because they couldn't find what they needed. Here is the last point. Point number 5 are local indicators. What does that really mean? That one is the offline data. This is when you hear a customer or someone, you run into them in the grocery store and they say, hey, I saw that post. Oh my gosh, that was such a funny reel. I got your email. I'm so glad you sent that. That's tracking. When you get that feedback from people that tell you, oh, I thought that was so much fun. Oh my goodness, I love that unboxing video. I thought that was so much fun that you included your kids in that video, or whatever it happened to be. Start either mentally jotting those down or getting the notes app on your phone and writing those down for yourself, because sometimes your best data isn't always digital. It's that anecdotal evidence that you're getting from your clients and customers. It's that relational data that's really going to give you that feedback of, hey, these are real humans in the wild telling me that they saw this content or they got my email and they enjoyed it. What did they enjoy about it? That it was relational. They saw maybe a pair of shoes that they really enjoyed. They saw a new product or a new service that you're coming out with. They have told you, I really want that, but now it's up to you, the business owner, to follow up on that. There's a phrase that I learned early on in business that it's the fortune is in the follow-up. Well, don't forget to follow up with those folks then. Here's one of the last points I want to make today for you. I want you to focus on patterns, not perfection. That's the place that so many people get stuck. They check the numbers, totally freak out that they're not completely blowing it out of the water, and they just quit and go back to doing whatever they were doing. Please stop doing that. Don't do that. We don't need to freak out about the numbers. I promise it'll be perfectly fine. We are not looking for perfect. You and I know that. We know that in our core, right? We are not looking for perfect. We are looking for patterns in this data. Does that mean that your website is bad because someone can't find what they want? No. That means that maybe we need to rearrange it a little bit differently. Maybe you need to lean into SEO. Maybe your images are outdated. Those patterns of what someone is doing on your website, or what they are or are not clicking in an email, tells you where your energy kind of belongs. That tells you where you need to lean into certain things. When you're thinking about social media, that's something that's easy for all of us to relate to. If your reels are consistently outperforming your static posts, that's a pattern. Maybe your emails always do better when you send them on a Friday. Well, maybe send more Friday emails. Maybe you need to send them Sunday night or maybe Tuesday morning. Catch your people doing what they're doing, okay? If they're reading their emails at a certain amount of time, this comes back to an earlier episode of Your Ideal Client. Scroll back and go listen to that one after this one. But when you're thinking about that ideal client, what are they doing? Why would they be receptive to an email at a certain time? Is it a time that they're sitting there bored at their desk? Is it a time that they might be in the evening at a kid's soccer game and they might be sitting there scrolling instead of watching? What are those times that you can catch your ideal client out there doing what they're doing, living their lives, and meet them where they're at? It's a wonderful way to help them understand that, yes, this business knows me, the ideal client, and it helps you, the business, understand where your people are and really get a good feel for what they need. So the goal here is not to have perfect numbers. Don't expect to see your numbers knock it out of the park every single month. There are going to be down months and there's going to be up months. The goal is truly to make smarter decisions based on what you already know, whether that is coming from a Reels-based strategy, or coming from a post strategy and going to Reels, or if that means starting email marketing for you. Maybe it means some type of shift like that. When we are tracking what we do, it helps us move from reactive, shoot, I should have sold more of these, quick, run a sale. It helps us move from that reactive to intentional. I can actually make a strategy. I can actually understand what's happening next. Oh, you know what? Last year I saw this big dip at this particular season as well. How can I get in front of that? When we see what's working, we can kind of start to repeat what is working. And when we see what's not working, well, forget it. Maybe you've tried it for a certain amount of time. Well, and if it didn't work, forget it. Try something new. That is the kind of calm, confident marketing energy I want you to have, especially as we go into this holiday season. I know that can be really tough. Here's how I do it. Once a month, usually within that first week, I block off at least an hour. For myself, it might be actually 2 hours because you're getting the content for Stonehouse and for Founders Collective. So assess every single month. I open the analytics. I just take a look. I really don't overthink about it. I'm not making any sort of special graphs. I'm just taking a look at year over year and month to month. I'm taking kind of a close look and a little bit of further outlook. What worked? What didn't? What posts performed? Did we say the same thing in a post? Did we do our own little test? Did we say the same thing in a post where the graphic was slightly different? Did we have a post and a reel that essentially said the same thing, and did one outperform the other? I'm just kind of looking at quick analysis like that. This isn't my big marketing deep dive. This isn't a huge strategy session of mine. This is me just taking about an hour or two every single month and just giving it a once over. I'm really looking for presence here rather than perfection. Perfection is never the goal for me. Every time we are taking that hour and we're just kind of remembering, oh yeah, we are in the driver's seat. I want you to learn from your audience. And when we learn from our audience, that makes us smarter, calmer, and a lot more confident about what we are putting out there as that small business owner. So here is what I want you to take away from today. You do not have to do more. You just simply have to do more of what's working. And of course, tracking is going to help you see what is working. I want you to stop guessing and I want you to start looking. Take a look at the last couple of months of what worked. Take a look at your reels. Take a look at your static posts. What did your clients, customers, and fans, what did they actually resonate with? When we pay attention to our own data, the real feedback coming from our real customers, we're going to find so much more peace. Here's this week's challenge for you, because I always like to give you a little bit of homework. This week's challenge is to track one thing, whatever that happens to be over the next week. Maybe it's Reels performance. Maybe you're going to track your email clicks. Maybe you're going to simply track your web traffic. Did it go up or down based on if I added a link in my social media? Just one thing. I want you to write it down and I want you to check it again this time next month. You are going to be amazed at how much clarity just that one habit brings. Do you have to check it every single day? No, please don't check it every single day. That's going to give you really volatile data. But when you look for that pattern, rather than perfection, we want to know where are the places that we can dig deeper. So remember, that's what we're doing here. That's what we do here at Founders Collective. We are learning how to build smarter, calmer, and more connected businesses right here in good old Wisconsin, because we don't need to work harder. We just need to see what's already working and to do it with purpose.